One day ago, his U.S. Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, who was there with him at the White House to greet the North Korean delegation as well as to see them off just a few minutes ago, was asked whether or not the world would find out today on Friday whether this June 12th meeting was going forward. And Secretary Pompeo said he didn't know, but we just heard President Trump confirm this from his own mouth, this meeting taking place on June 12th. Trump is calling this June 12th get-together between himself and Kim Jong-un a sort of get-to-know-you meeting. And the president also said that he anticipates that there will be a series of meetings. It won't just be this one. The president saying that he never said there would only be one meeting, but potentially a series of them to get to know each other, to get to understand what each side is looking for, and to move towards denuclearization. The president was asked if in this meeting that he had with Kim Jong-un, if they came to an even further agreement about the definition of denuclearization, which has been a sticking point between the U.S. delegation and the North Koreans. It's something that he didn't answer right away, but he said, you know, this meeting that took place at the White House was called at the spur of the moment. It was supposed to be a meeting to deliver this letter from the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, but it turned into a 2-hour talk session. The president saying that the two leaders covered a lot of ground. They talked about everything, is how the president put it. They talked about sanctions, he said, but they didn't talk about what has been an elephant in the room, which is the whole human rights issue, which is something that the world community really has criticized North Korea for. But again, the president reiterating that this meeting will take place on June 12th and that he is fully committed to the idea that Kim is committed to denuclearization of the North Korean peninsula. President Trump saying that this is going to certainly be a first. He also criticized former U.S. presidents for not doing this, not just President Barack Obama, who is his predecessor, but other U.S. presidents. But in terms of how President Trump sees this, he already sees this as a success, and he sees North Korea and the United States moving towards what he's been calling for, which is total denuclearization of the North Korean peninsula.
And the confirmation that this Singapore summit is going ahead next month comes off the back of a few meetings with Kim Jong-chol. He's seen as Kim Jong-un's right-hand man. Before he met President Trump, as we know, he met with the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, in New York. Why is Kim Jong-chol so significant in this whole process?
Well, I mean, he's the senior-most advisor to Kim Jong-un. He's a very powerful official in North Korea. He's obviously coming here as a representative to Kim Jong-un. But this meeting between Pompeo and Kim is significant because Pompeo has not only met with Kim Jong-un twice, this is now his third meeting that he has had with Kim Jong-chol. So you see high-level leaders from both sides working towards the end goal, which is this June 12th meeting, which we now know is officially on the table. And the fact that he hand-delivered this letter to President Donald Trump in the White House, also historic and also very significant. If you got a look at the exit of the North Korean delegation, you saw the U.S. president, along with his Secretary of State, along with the North Korean delegation, shaking hands repeatedly, taking several photos, Pompeo and Trump sort of bidding them farewell as they jumped into their SUVs and left. President Trump was asked about what was in this letter that was delivered to the White House, this letter delivery that again led to this 2-hour meeting between Kim and Trump. Initially, he said that it was a very nice letter, and he was sort of teasing the media who were present, saying, wouldn't you like to see what is in this letter? How much would you like to see what's in this letter? Again, calling it a very nice letter, but just moments later, he actually said that he hadn't even read it yet. So the other question here is, what is the contents of this letter, and when will the world find out? It is something that the White House will release potentially, or will it be the North Koreans themselves? But that's still a question. But one of the questions that, of course, is answered is that this meeting will be taking place on June 12th.
Yes, and one of the major issues that's really prevented the confirmation of this summit is this idea of denuclearization. The US insists that North Korea must get rid of all of its nuclear arsenal. North Korea says it wants to hold on to some of it for its own sake and safety. Was any of that cleared up by Donald Trump's comments on the White House lawn?
Well, he was asked about that, if he and Kim, during that 2-hour meeting, came to any further understanding about the definition of what denuclearization is. As you just mentioned, it's something that the U.S. sees very differently than North Korea. The president sort of sidestepping an answer to that question. It's something that Mike Pompeo was also asked about when he met with Kim Jong-un in New York on Thursday. Pompeo simply saying that the two sides are coming to a greater understanding of what that means. So it sort of seems like neither side is yet prepared to say that they have complete agreement on what that means. But if you listen to what Donald Trump said, he said that this June 12th meeting is a start. It's a beginning point and will likely result in even further meetings. Trump saying that this June 12th meeting, again, is a sort of get-to-know-you meeting. So during the course of that time, will the two leaders come to an even greater understanding about what denuclearization means for both sides? And will they then be able to take that information and move a step further toward the U.S. goal of total denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula? Well, that's something that we'll have to watch, and we'll have to wait and see what happens on June 12th.